Well, good evening, everyone. Hope you've had an amazing day. We are here with Christa Harris from Calm Cleaning here in Calgary, Alberta. She's a great friend of mine. I'm super excited about tonight and the topic that we're talking about, having a calm home and some cleaning hacks that are going to make your life easier and your peace of mind more attainable. So, Christa, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, a bit about your background, and how in the world did you become a professional cleaner? And why is it important to you? A lot of questions.
Yeah. Well, as our name says, Calm Cleaning. The first few clients, when I kind of just started off on my own, I sent out a test and I asked them, how does cleaning make you feel? And it was a lot of around those words of calm and peaceful. And so that's kind of how we got our name, actually. Our clients named us. And so we've been going for about 4 years. I started off on my own, kind of fell into it, jokingly said to a friend, maybe I should start a cleaning business. And she phoned me 2 weeks later saying she had a client for me. And then it was just one step after that, kind of fell into it. Now we have a bunch of staff and we're growing, which is great. And we just love to serve our clients. And I'll talk a little bit later about our natural products that we use. It's really important to us to be environmentally friendly as much as possible and also healthy for your home, your pets, your kids, just to keep it fresh and natural and safe. And so as much as that goes and the attention to detail, we just really love to do an exceptional job. And we think that details really matter and that we seek to just bring that sense of peace to each one of our clients. So that's a bit about us. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I think it's really amazing that it started so organically. Hey, that somebody just was like, "Oh, I have a client for you," and I've actually seen Christa's work.
Yeah.
And she's an amazing cleaner. She's got an awesome staff, and she's going to share a little bit about some of her services too. So, and she's got some great deals on right now too. So, I won't spoil the deals, but why don't we just get into it? Christa, tell us a little bit about what you came to share, and I'll just pop in and ask questions as we go through. And just again, for those who have just joined us, please say hello to us in the chat. And we'd love to hear who's here and where are you from. And if you have any questions for Christa, let me know in the chat, and I will make sure I ask those to her as well at the end as well. So thank you. Take it away, Christa, and let me know when you need me to share the screen.
Sure, sounds great. So first of all, I think we should just start off with a bit of an activity. If you're at home there, I just want you to close your eyes for a moment and go into this space of imagining with me. So imagine you walk into your home and you see those muddy dog prints on the front hardwood floor. Beside them, you see the shoes a mess and you catch a whiff of the old recycling stashed around the corner in the overflowing bin. You walk past the kitchen, not wanting to look at the mess on the burner from last night's dinner overflowing because you're too tired to scrub it down last night. You go and lay on the couch for a minute to catch your breath and feel aggravated when you see all the dog hair and specks of food on your white carpet. The bottom of the chair across the room has writable dirt on it, and there's a goober on the coffee table. Ugh, gross. How long has that been there? You say to yourself, ugh, I might as well go have a shower. And you take a look around at your dusty cosmetic bottles and the dull, scummy shower with the water-stained faucets and all the hair. That heavy feeling rises in your chest and it just feels like you can't take a deep breath. And all you think is how much work you will have to do. So now I want you to keep your eyes closed and take a deep breath and imagine this. Imagine you walk into your front door and it smells like lemongrass, the kind of essential oil they use at the spa with those warm towelettes. The front mat is perfectly vacuumed, and even all the rubber edges washed from the muddy boots. Everything is neat and tidy. You walk into the kitchen and all your appliances, big and small, are shining and perfectly ordered in a neat, tidy row. Your sink is shined and every groove has been scrubbed. You walk into your living room and take a deep, long breath. All your cushions are perfectly placed and every throw folded neatly. The coffee table is shining and you can even see the nice vacuum lines on your suede couch. And your white carpet, even all the corners and under the plant, was done. You walk into your bathroom and decide to take a shower before dinner. You open the shower curtain and there's not one dull spot and not one water stain. Then you decide, it's clean enough to take a bath instead. And you pull out your lavender Epsom salts and start running the bath. Later, you get your comfy clothes on and sit on the edge of your bed. You take a deep, relaxing breath and then jump up with excitement. I wonder what I could do tonight, you say to yourself. The night's all yours. So I want you guys to just, give me some feedback, even in the chat, like, how does that make you feel? And that's really, that feeling is, we think, well, of course, everyone knows that clean makes you feel better. We know that. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the science behind some of the reasons why, and the reasons why it is healthy for us. So I'll start with Dr. Ralph Rybeck. He's taught at Harvard Medical School and presented some reasons why cleanliness makes a difference in our bodies, our brains, and our overall health. So here's a few research items that he's found. A study led by Professor Nicole R. Keith, research scientists and professors in Indiana found that with clean houses, that people are healthier. And they tracked that physical health of 998 African Americans between the ages of 49 and 65. And this is a demographic known to be at risk for heart disease. Sorry, guys, I lost my spot here. There we go. Okay, these participants who kept their homes clean were healthier and more active than those who didn't. In fact, house cleanliness was noticed to be even more of a predictor for physical health than the neighborhood walkability. In 2010, a study was published in the Scientific Journal, and it was in Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin, used linguistic analysis software to measure the way 60 individuals discussed their homes. So women who described their living spaces as cluttered or full of unfinished projects were more likely to be depressed, fatigued than women who described their homes as restful and restorative. The research also found that women with cluttered homes expressed higher levels of the stress hormone cortisol. In 2011, researchers at Princeton University found that clutter can actually make it more difficult to focus on a particular task. Specifically, they found that the visual cortex can be overwhelmed by irrelevant objects, making it harder to allocate attention and complete tasks efficiently. Also, a survey conducted by the National Sleep Foundation found that people who make their beds every morning are 19% more likely to report regularly getting good night's sleep. People who surveyed also reported benefits from having clean sheets. Specifically, 75% of people said that they get a better night's rest when their sheets are freshly cleaned because they feel more comfortable. So what is the explanation for all of this? I will find it in my notes. There we
I think
go.
it's really interesting though that studies are actually done related to this. I mean, to me, this is actually quite fascinating. I can identify with the sheet thing
Sure.
too. Like, if I think about, like, to me, it makes me so happy to get into a bed that where the sheets have just been washed and it's been put on. It's been put on the bed. Like, I mean, for me, that is golden for sure. There's something about the feeling and knowing that that's
Totally.
actually clean. Yeah, it's really interesting.
Totally. And even you think of yourself whenever you want to go focus on something or read a book or do something, I often find myself going to the most clean spot in my house because that seems the most restful. You know, not where all my laundry is piled up, not where all the papers are piled up, you know?
Yeah,
So there is something to this. Yeah.
so true.
And so I know Dr. Ryback, so he writes about kind of some of the science of these studies. And he says the human body is made up of tens of thousands integrated biological and neurochemical systems, all of which are organized. Many of our cells operate on strict schedules or circadian rhythms. Crystal could even express more of what she knows about the body in this regard as well. Many of our cells operate on strict schedules. Even at the atomic level, we are well regulated and well organized. Without this organization, our bodies would collapse into chaos. It wouldn't be surprising then if the reason we crave symmetry and cleanliness in our home is to mirror the organization within our very own bodies. Neatness and order support health and oppose chaos. And that's a direct quote from Dr. Ryback. But yeah, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that, Crystal?
Yeah, I think, the reality is that we have over like a trillion cells in our bodies, and all of those cells are organized into in terms of like what they're actually supposed to do. So from the moment that conception actually happens, when the cells actually begin dividing, the innate wisdom of the body, which to me is like, it's the inborn knowledge, which really to me comes from God, um, is basically everything is organized. So the body actually knows, or each of these cells will divide, and then they become, for example, a liver cell. They have all of the information of all of the cells within the body, but they actually divide and they function specifically as a liver cell. So this actually the whole function of epigenetics is involved with this. But the truth is, like, just as you're saying, the body is a completely organized system, and it knows exactly how it's supposed to function and what cells are supposed to function as what. And those cells can even change environments, and then they actually could become something, function in a different way if needed, right? So it's really interesting, though, the fact that he brings up this whole issue with the body, and we're actually made to some degree for some sort of like organization, right? It automatically happens within the body without us even thinking about it. So it's incredibly powerful.
Yeah. And amazing that we don't fully know all the ins and outs of that, but we all know that it's there and that it works,
Right.
and we all know that feeling. And so it's just really neat to recognize that. Yeah, that's cool. Thanks for that.
You brought up the whole thing of like you were talking about clean sheets, and so somebody else was like, me too, I totally agree, clean sheets, like, man, that makes a huge difference. And you
Yeah.
also talked um, about how you go to the cleanest place in your house when you want to like sort of sit down and relax or whatever, right? And I thought that's so funny because the first thing I do when I come home before I can actually relax is I have to clean something up. Like, and it's frustrating. And not that that's always the case, but it's just like, in order for me to feel like I can relax, if there's a few dishes that have to be done or something like that, or an area needs to be straightened out,
Yeah.
I have to do that first, and then I can actually sit down and relax.
Yeah.
So
And I'm sure, I'm wondering if anyone else relates to this as well. Sometimes I'm like, you know what, the state of my mental health and or the state of my mind, but if you were to go into my bathroom or my kitchen, right? I think we can all relate to that.
So if you guys can relate to this, give us a thumbs up in the chat. Just give us some thumbs.
Yeah.
Let's see them thumbs coming up, because man, I bet you so many of you can relate to what we're talking about here tonight. Oh, that's
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, even sometimes I take a pulse on like, okay, where am I at? And I look around my house and I'm like, yep, okay, this is where we're at. Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna go into next just talking about a few like really easy, simple, practical tips that will just help you make you feel better in your home next. So should I go right into that, Christa?
I just have a couple comments here. So
sure.
Gabriella said multi-cell organisms require a greater degree of organization to survive. When our body's cells are disorganized or not functioning properly, our bodies respond to that in order to survive. So yeah, so there's a whole response aspect related to this. So
that's
survival.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, thanks, Gabriella.
That's so good. Who else? I'm just checking the chat here to see. Yeah, lots of thumbs ups, lots of smiles. Everybody can relate to this. Before you go into the hacks, I wanted to bring something else up. So, I mean, I can't think of anybody who probably hasn't seen the hoarding shows. So what are your thoughts on, because we were talking about mental health and then hoarding. And I think like we all probably have a junk drawer. Maybe some of us have more than 1 or 2 junk drawers. Like, what are your thoughts on sort of that and that connection, like you're saying, like the kitchen or the bathroom to mental health? Let's talk about that for a minute.
Sure. I mean, I know that even in talking with a lot of my clients, and I've worked with some home organizing companies, and I've serviced some clients themselves when in trying to declutter their home. And really what it is, it's compounded burdens, because you really everything that you see has an action that needs to be done attached to it, whether it's it needs to be put away in a right spot, whether it needs to be sold, whether you need to send that to a loved one. They all have this, you know, maybe it's garbage, but every one of those things has an action. So you can get really overwhelmed. And I think what a lot of people, when they have a ton of clutter, it's just too much for them to even think about. So they often approach it and then kind of back off and go drink a glass of wine. I have a client that does that often, just drinks a glass of wine.
I think so many of us could probably, you know, attest to, you know, that or something similar, you know, not necessarily a glass of wine. Not everybody drinks, but yeah. Seeing that feeling of like, I need something to give me some relief from what I just was looking at.
Right. And so you're almost always bombarded in your own home with this anxiety of a pressure of what you need to do or something you need to do. And so I think that really adds to people's stress levels a ton. And it does kind of have a way of just kind of encroaching on your life, doesn't it? Like it kind of starts taking over. So, I mean, we can even, that's I have one tip, one of those practical tips around this area. So I'll just share that now because I've been telling my clients for the last few years, and I've practiced myself for the last number of years, is always having a pile that goes to Goodwill, or you're selling it on Kijiji, or you're dropping it off at Goodwill. If it's garbage, you need to put it in the garbage right away. But, and here are some just helpful things to recognize what that, you know, if an item if you're supposed to get rid of an item, you know, and I know there's, if any of you are familiar, there's a lot of, like talk about, Maria Kondo, about like what gives you joy. And so you pick up an item and it's really like, okay, is it meaningful to you? I know a lot of people feel guilt because if they received a gift,
Right.
and if that
Guilty.
has
Guilty. Anybody else guilty? Just put a hand raise in the chat there. Yeah, feel guilty about stuff that you really want to get rid of, but you feel like you have to keep. Yep, been there.
Yeah. Okay. Is there lots of people? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I mean, that's a real thing, and I know some people, and I understand that some people, loved ones give it and there's an expectation there.
Right.
But really, if it doesn't bring you personal joy, and if it doesn't hold incredible value to you, you don't have to keep it. So there's just kind of like this understanding that like you actually can release that, and you don't have to hang on to it. And you don't have to feel guilty about that.
Hands being raised in the chat here.
Good. Maybe you need to also interview my friends at Room to Breathe. Actually, that's the company that I always refer a lot of my organizing clients to. But things like things that you don't use anymore. So if you haven't used it in a few years, I would even say 2 years, you need to think, hey, if you feel better about gifting it to someone, just give it away. If you feel like you might use it one day, say, I'll give this to you. I might want to borrow it one day. Sure, that's fine. It's getting it out of your space and out of your place if it's crowding up your mind. Old clothes, any clothes that don't fit. Us women are really, really, really good at keeping all the different sizes in the closet, just in case we drop a few pounds, or just in case, and or that favorite sweater, but it's starting to, like, it's not looking good anymore. It's like deciding that you're going anything with a hole, anything that doesn't fit properly, anything that's old or worn out, it's get rid of. Anything you haven't worn in years, it's get rid of.
So can I?
Yeah.
Sorry. Finish your list. I would just want to comment on what you had to say, though, and that is when we actually keep things that don't fit us, and whether they're larger or too small, there's something about, like, when we're keeping that, there's actually it's hard to explain without me saying that there's like an expectation or an energy to that. Like, I'm trying to figure out specific words that make sense, but it's like when you have an expectation that you're probably going to gain weight because you've lost, because this has happened so many times, you've lost weight and then you've gained weight. By keeping the larger stuff, you actually have an expectation that may not suit your life in terms of where you are right now. And so then you're not, again, there's a piece of that where you're actually not aligned with who you are right now. That's the other thing. So then we don't let go, when we don't let go of this stuff from the past, and we have the expectation that, oh, I'm probably just going to gain the weight back. This is all subconscious stuff. This isn't stuff that we're consciously thinking about. Although occasionally I've thought that when I've, had those moments. And the same with the small. It's like, oh, well, when I get to this size, so I'm going to keep this, and I realized that I was doing that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have all these attachments to things that actually don't align with just where I'm at right now. And not only that, if you had, we're talking just about weight loss, but it's not all just about weight loss, but this is just an example. It's like, when you say your body shape changes, whether it's larger or small, regardless of that. So whether it's larger or small, it's like, you want to get new stuff anyway. That's the reality. So here's the thing, just let yourself off the hook. Okay. I actually went through my closet and I did this a little while ago. And do you know how good it feels? This is taking up mental real estate. This is really how I look at, like, what you're talking about, clutter. And I mean, I have it. We all have it. Okay. But it actually takes up mental and emotional real estate. So what kinds of real estate can you release, right? So that you have space for where you are right now, so you can
Yeah,
live in
that's
the
good.
moment, you can be more present in the moment. And so I love what you're saying. It's like, get rid of the old sweater, like get rid of the old stuff. I mean, there's certain things that really do have like significant value to us. And I have a few things like that I'm hanging on to,
Yeah,
but lots of it now I'm like, oh, this doesn't fit anymore. I'm getting rid of it because later on I'm going to
totally.
want to get new clothes anyway. So I'm not even going to want to wear the old stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And a good time to do that is every season when you're pulling out all
Right.
the different stuff, right?
Yeah.
And even stuff that you're bored with, just get rid of it,
Yeah. Yeah.
Give it away. It feels
Go, man.
great.
Cheers.
Yeah. That's great.
Love it.
Some other things are broken things that you will never fix. Unless you are someone who absolutely loves those projects and it gives you joy to fix the vase that was broken. I have a lot of clients, probably more in the retiree ages, and they just can't give away, like it's sometimes a bit of a struggle. Well, should I give this away? Should I get rid of this? And you're like, well, it's not functioning anymore. It's taking up dust. It's taking up space in your storage room. You don't know how to fix it. You don't want to pay to have it fixed. And when it's fixed, you're not even sure if you're going to use it. So that's one of those things. If it's broken, yeah.
So
Yeah.
true. So true.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Anybody else out there agree? Give us some thumbs up here. Give us some hearts. Tell us
Yeah.
how much you're enjoying tonight. Isn't this awesome? I just think it's so funny because I'm like, we can all relate. I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
I'll be really vulnerable with you guys. So
Okay.
when we cleaned out the office, we cleaned out the office, moved a whole bunch of stuff that was kind of our storage space into a garage. So we move it into the garage, not all of it, because there's a chunk of it that needs to be sorted through. And so then because I painted my offices and I needed this space, for work, everything's out in the living room, in boxes and stacked and whatever. And I'm like, oh, we need bins for this. And we need, most of it's stuff that we were keeping. And there's a few things that need to be sorted. And it just kind of wasn't getting done. And every day it is exhausting because it's sitting in my living room, waiting for us to deal with it. So anyway, the other day I came home and I already was kind of feeling a little bit deflated that day for some reason. And so I'm going through some stuff and then I walk in the door and all I can see is the stuff sitting there. And I was like, just like you explained in that mental picture, I just was like, oh. And I'm like, I don't think I can handle this anymore. So I literally took the stuff and thought, okay, I know that some of this needs to be sorted, but right now I need it out of my physical space and my mental real estate. So I literally started packing all this stuff up, figuring out what box I'm going to, what's going to, the Sally Ann and what's going to the garbage. And I just it didn't take very long, but I just this is getting out of the house. This is getting out of the house. And I literally just started stacking everything just outside the door. And then, it took me a little bit longer to get everything out to the garage, but it's out of my space. And now I have a place that I can go where I can deal with it box at a time. And it's not sitting in my living room. So that's my confession. I recently had one of those situations and I literally was like, I'm not dealing with this. It's all going in boxes and I will deal with it another day. So
yeah, right. Yeah. It's so true. Yeah. And so when we talk about collecting the things that you can get rid of, these are some ideas to look for. It helps you be mindful of just being aware, of all the stuff that's in your house that might be bothering you, and literally choosing a place in your garage, your basement, a closet, even if it's just one bag or one box, where you just continually put things in there. And for oftentimes, I even do a Goodwill run once a week, once every 2 weeks. And just doing that for years, I also I have some people in my life who just like to give gifts and random things, and it's so wonderful because oftentimes, well, a lot of my house has been furnished by giving people, but sometimes it overwhelms me. So I have to regift sometimes, and they know that, and they're okay with that. But
Awesome.
yeah, so that's kind of one of the tips. Yeah.
I just have another little comment here. So Mandy says,
Yeah.
be thankful for the giver and then release it with gratitude. I love
Oh,
that.
that's so good.
Be
Yeah.
thankful for the
Yeah.
giver, right? And then release that with gratitude. I like that. That's a
Totally.
great principle.
Yeah. That's really beautiful. Thank you, Mandy. Yeah. And I know even for people who are downsizing, I have some clients moving from houses to condos, and you can't keep everything for sure. But even having people they're taking pictures of really special items that were given to them. They have a story, but they have no way to
Great
keep
idea.
them.
I love
And then
that.
you just have like a photo book, and so you can remember the stories, because those are important. Yeah,
That's a great
absolutely.
idea. Okay, who's starting a photo album after this? Take pictures of the stuff you love, get rid of it, release it with gratitude.
Yeah, that's
Write the
beautiful.
story in the book. That's a great idea. That's
Love
awesome.
that. I love that, Mandy. Thank you for saying that. That's great. That's cool. Well, shall I go into let's just move on, and I'm going to explain a little bit. So our business, we use, if any of you guys have heard of Norwex, it's pretty common these days. A lot of people know the cloths, but so this is the main kind of enviro cloth you'll see. These Norwex cloths are infused with silver agent, which is antibacterial in nature. So this cloth, when wet, is antibacterial, and the tests that have been done, this wipes away more bacteria than a Lysol wipe.
Wow.
So, which is pretty amazing. It was found in Norway. They used to use them in the hospitals there. So it's quite reputable. And we use this because it's green, it's natural, there's no chemicals, and it's really quite safe, especially for anyone with health troubles, kids, pets. And then we're going to talk a little bit about this cloth as well. It's called the purple window cloth. And this is like the shiner extravaganza. This will shine anything perfectly. So so I think Crystal's going to pull up some pictures.
Sure.
And just about disappeared there for a second.
I saw that.
Hello. There we go. So I'm going to give you a little quick microwave hack that we use in our cleaning business. And this was created by my staff, Jenny. She's my supervisor and quality control girl. And so this, I exploded ketchup in my microwave. And this is how dirty and horrible it looks. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go to the next picture. So you're just going to get a little bowl or a cup, whatever you have, put a good amount of water in there, and turn the microwave on for about a minute. And you'll probably have to gauge it depending on the strength of your microwave. And that's going to just loosen and soften all those particles. There you go. There's my hand pressing the microwave button. And then you're going to, if you happen to have Norwex, and we'll also put a link that you can buy later on, and you're going to wet your Norwex with some nice warm water, and you're just going to wash all that off, and it's going to come off really easy. It's going to be a really easy, quick swipe, not a lot of scrubbing. And this is all soap free, it's chemical free, and it's antibacterial. And then you're going to go to the next cloth, and this will just dry and shine everything, including your glass bit. It's really good for glass and mirrors. And we're just going to show you the finished product. A perfectly sparkly, clean microwave. So that's like really easy. I know microwaves can be horrible, especially if you have kids and, pizza exploding, soup exploding in the microwave. We've all seen that. It can get pretty grody and crusty. And that's just a really easy hack to do. It takes literally less than 2 minutes to clean your microwave spotless.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, that's one of the things that we do when we go out and clean. So yeah. And does anyone have any feedback on that?
Somebody said they love the glass cloth. They use it a lot. So somebody else has Norwex. That was Mandy.
Awesome.
Mandy loves
Yeah.
Yeah. I've used them too. They're really are quite amazing, incredible. And I love the fact all you do is you just get it the moisture in the microwave, which softens everything up, and then it makes it way easier to clean. And you're not spraying a bunch of chemicals in there, which is awesome. Like, who wants that in their food anyway?
Exactly. It's much safer. And the window cloth is, as if you've used it, it's great for mirrors. Like Windex, where we've all used Windex before, streaky mirrors. This is no streak mirrors. You will have absolutely no streak mirrors. It's fast, it's easy. And this cuts my cleaner's time in about a third by cleaning the windows that way. So awesome. Yeah, and our next tip actually comes from, I used to, for years before I started my cleaning business, I worked with kids with special needs for about 10 years. And I had an opportunity to work with a really well-known music therapist here in the city. Her name is Jennifer Buchanan from JB Music. And she was actually doing music therapy for us staff one time. And she said, if there are difficult things for you to do in your life, whether it's waking up, cleaning the kitchen, going for a run, whatever those things are, she's like, create a music list for yourself that motivates you and makes that fun, because you can enjoy cleaning the kitchen. You can enjoy those things, and that can be we all have to do it, so it can be an enjoyable part, right? So yeah, I think that dancing while you do your dishes is just a great add-in. We might not always think of it, but create for yourself a playlist of music that you just love to dance to. Awesome. And turn it on with your kids or your spouse or all by yourself with your cat and, dance around while you clean. I sometimes make my roommate dance with me, or I'll be like, be warned. A lot of people on this call know my roomie, so that's even funnier.
She's awesome.
Yeah. So, and if anyone is interested in buying any Norwex products, they have a lot of really great kids products, even some skincare products. We'll put that link down there so that you can buy as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anything else, Crystal? Yeah. I
think, just a couple things. One, when we were talking, you were talking about various playlists for things. So like, maybe one is for cleaning, something that puts you in a good mood for cleaning, but it could be for some other things too. My husband, he has all kinds of playlists. So it's like the car playlist and this playlist and the quiet time playlist and the, that kind of thing. So
cool.
Next list. So, it's really funny.
That's great.
Yeah. The other thing I was thinking about too is like, I've heard people say that one way to sort of maybe enjoy cleaning a bit more, let's say the dishes, because lots of times you end up having to wash dishes even if you have a dishwasher. And so this whole thing about making it a sensory experience, have you ever thought about that, or do you have anything to say? Sort of, have you thought about, or have you tried it?
Well, I know like things that are scented is big for me. So like even putting on my favorite candle and like dimming the lights, I don't like sensory bright light in my kitchen. I have one fluorescent light and one dimmer, and I never turn my fluorescent light on. And then also like, there is some really great natural dish soaps that smell really, really good. There's one that's now being sold on the shelves. You used to get it at the apothecary downtown in Inglewood. It's all natural. It's called Sapadilla, and they have a rosemary mint. And we could even give you a link for that as well. It's so refreshing. It's like just so nice to clean your dishes with and smell. So scents are a really big thing for me. And, you know, lighting is a big thing for me, for sure. And I mean, personally, I usually put on a bit of jazz music, maybe some of that old jazz, some like good saxophone, you know.
Whatever works.
And just kind of sway while you scrub your stove. It does make it a lot more enjoyable. That's for sure.
Right. That's a really good point. I love that.
Yeah.
I actually like to have either a thick pair of slippers or shoes on. If I'm cleaning, when I'm doing cleaning, I find I actually do better if I have shoes on or like a good pair of slippers that have a good thick bottom. So I'm not sore, because sometimes I've had, you know, some back issues and stuff. So even like the whole aspect of like making it more comfortable just like while you're cleaning. So maybe you want to buy an inside pair of shoes that you use just for that, you know, whatever it takes, you know, to make it easy.
Yeah, that's a great point. And also, I mean, as far as items that you can use, I mean, we talked about the little bowl for the microwave and the Norwex claws. We at Calm Cleaning use the traditional feather duster, which is actually proven to be one of the best dust collectors because of the oil fibers, the natural oil fibers in the ostrich feather itself. And there's really fun, cute tutorial videos, you know, online, old grandmas like showing you how to do it properly. But it is actually kind of fun using a real feather duster. There's a little bit of, you know, you feel like one of those old school maids type thing. Yeah, it's
Actually, you know what I think about immediately when you talked about the feather duster? I'm like, actually, that's a great sensory. It's like a great sensory thing, but for me, it immediately makes me want to talk like this, you know, and I want to do a little here and do a little there, and it actually makes it fun. That is the funniest thing. I've actually used those before, and that's exactly what happens. I turn into another person when I'm using a feather duster, the whole thing, you know. So how can you make it fun, right? I love this. These are great ideas. Just like, how do you make it fun so it's more enjoyable? Even your kids would love that. Who wouldn't love a feather duster? Oh yeah, really.
Well,
just you know, let them at the toilet at it, you know.
Yes, we have definitely had kids follow. Well, pre-COVID, we've had little kids follow us around, and I would give them a feather duster because they thought it was so cool, and they would dust with me. I've had cats steal the feather duster from my caddy and hide it in the house. I've had dogs steal the feather duster from my apron in the back. So yeah, it is a pretty fun thing, but it also just works really good. All those little, like if you have a lot of knickknacks and with crevices, you can just you can just even put it down on the floor and just go at it real, like, you know, all crazy, like, and it just gets it done super fast. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So good. Did you have any other tips to share? I can't remember what else you might have had, but
no, that's all we got for tonight.
Cool. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing those things. How do you make cleaning fun? Get a fun feather duster, everyone. I want to see pictures of all your feather dusters. So, Christa, why don't you tell us a little bit about your business, the services you have to offer, and I know you have kind of a deal for people too. So,
yeah. For sure. So we do in our business, we always start with an initial deep clean. So this is like top to bottom, like we wash your walls, your light fixtures, like doors, baseboards, whatever needs to be cleaned, and we bring it up to spec. So we have a pretty high standard. So we just raise your house to that standard. And then from there on, we have like a 3-package system. We're possibly moving to 4 packages here soon, but one involves like a annual spring clean. So that's in and outs of all your kitchen cupboards and your behind your fridge and moving your furniture, all that stuff. And then we just have like everything from like a quick clean of like the main level and like the bathrooms, you know, companies coming kind of, except not in COVID, but soon. and then we have like just the comprehensive clean that that gets basically everything done every time. So we make sure that we clean it really good the first time, and then we just keep up that standard for you moving forward. And with all these natural things in the imagery activity that we started with, I mentioned lemongrass, and we do use lemongrass from a spa actually in a lot of our products. And so it really is like a really fresh, beautiful smell. And we do use these cloths to shine absolutely everything in your home. So yeah, and right now we are offering $50 off your first clean. Or if you have anyone that you'd like to refer from this video, we'll also offer them $50 off their first clean. And prices are like, usually you get me, I get to come visit you in your home, and we do a home consultation specifically for you, and we address your needs and pick the right package for you. So that's kind of how we roll. We really want to personalize our services and make sure that you're getting exactly what you need. Wonderful. So that's us. That's Calm Cleaning.
That is so great. Just checking if anyone has any last sort of questions or comments. Feel free just to pop that in the chat there. So great to have you on here, Christa. I'm so glad. You're so much fun. If you know Christa, you know she's a lot of fun, and she really likes to have a good laugh. So that's the other really great thing you're getting if you actually get her professional cleaning services, is you probably get a good laugh out of her. So, or
that's awesome.
Sometimes at her, and she's a pretty good sport when it comes to pretty good at laughing at herself. Yeah. So yeah, so I don't see anything here in the comments. So we're probably just going to wrap it up. We're going to put all of the links down in the chat. This is also being recorded, and I'm going to be uploading it to YouTube. And then I'll share it on the page, and we'll be able to share it, and you will be able to share it with your friends. So these are some great ideas. And thank you so much, Christa, for your time. You're so much fun. And yeah, I love the ideas, because, you know, I think we all need a little bit of hope for our mental health when it comes to being at home, especially with COVID. Everybody's spending so much time at home.
True.
So how can we make home, you know, a nicer place? Oh, one last thought. I heard of somebody who said that they put their house to bed. You know, they put their house to bed. So they have a little process where they kind of just straighten things up in different rooms. And it's kind of like a way for them to actually have closure on the day. And then when they get up in the morning, you know, it's kind of the same thing, right? It's like you turn this light on, you turn the coffee maker on, like it's like then you're waking up the house. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's great, and I should do that. My turn to be vulnerable. I'm infamous for accidentally falling asleep with the lights on.
Well, Christa puts herself to bed.
I think that's a great thing.
That's hilarious. I love it.
That's awesome. And I just want to say thank you, Crystal, for hosting me. This has been awesome. And just thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
You're so welcome. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful night. We're going to sign off. And yeah, thank you. We'll see you guys later. Sorry.